Hey everybody, this is
All
Rob
right.
Keynes with goldsilverpros.com. I'm joined by a special first-time guest on the program, Jaime Lalinde, who's the CEO of O2Gold, who has a project out in Colombia. Jaime, how are you doing today?
Hi, how are you doing, Rob?
Doing
Very
very, very
well.
well. It's good to talk to you. We were chatting before the interview started about your background. So I know that you were in banking in the U.S. for quite a few years. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience there?
Yes, Robert, thank you. I went to a PhD candidate in political science when I moved out of college. I moved to New York and joined Chase Manhattan Bank, went through all the training programs and all that. Then I joined Citi and Citibank out of New York, and I ran the private banking team for Colombia for many years. Having been in Mexico and the Mexican team for a while, and then I came back to Colombia back in 2006 and got involved in the natural resources sector.
So why natural resources if you were in banking for so long? What attracted you to that?
Well, Colombia, when I came back, Colombia was quite an explorer country. If you compare it with Chile or Peru, having basically the same geological environment. We felt there was a huge opportunity at the time. Colombia has high quality metallurgical coal, has been a producer of gold for many, many years. Colombia was the largest exporter of producer of platinum in the 18th century in one of the basins on the west part of the country. And we felt there was a huge opportunity waiting to happen. At the time, the country was going through a difficult political situation in the countryside, and then we figured the opportunity was there with the peace agreement that was signed back in 2016. That makes some of these areas that we're exploring right now, that make them available for junior companies to get into the exploration process.
And what in particular about gold attracted you?
Hey, gold was, as I mentioned, we acquired this company about 2 years ago. It had an interesting gold project, but we felt that the structure of the deal was not in the best interest of our investors. So we moved and we found another deal that was very prospective, that was owned by the Bullet Group in Colombia. So we felt, gold was the place to be, given particularly the international economic scenario, the level of debt that has been acquired by the nations. That was obviously, increase in with the pandemic. So we felt that we were just coming at the right time, Robert. So
yeah.
We felt we're very lucky, but then we have an advisory team in Colombia as well as in Toronto, and we're looking for opportunities in gold in the gold space. So,
yeah, I think the macroeconomic perspective on gold is, as you said, a lot of these countries have a lot of debt. We've heard word that China and Russia are considering maybe utilizing gold in their banking system, maybe even to back up their currency. That news has come out in the last year. I think Hugo Salinas Price, the big billionaire investor in Mexico, has talked about that. So gold seems to be taking center stage in the financial system. But what's your view on that? Do you think gold's going to become more important? Are we going to go back to gold, or with your banking experience, do you think we're going to?
We may go back to a gold standard. Not sure if that's exactly, but with the level of debt of the countries, and not only the U.S., but you look at European nations, it's been blown out of proportion completely from the previous terms, and that we don't see no end to this. It will continue to happen, and it's interesting that most of the natural resources, most of the gold deposits in Colombia have been acquired by Chinese companies. In fact, the Continental Gold Company that was founded by our main partner, Bob Allen, was acquired by Zijin, which is one of the top Chinese producers. The value of the transaction was 1.4 billion Canadian, so it's about $1 billion US. And we continue to see lots of interest from Chinese investors and from Chinese companies in our company and in other companies in the region. So we have no doubt that China is probably the major buyer of gold today throughout the world, and obviously they're looking for deposits. And there are 5 major large Chinese companies that are in the production side. So we're very excited about it. So
it's very interesting that China is now doing a lot of business in Colombia finding gold. Is the Colombia government aware of this, and are they encouraging local companies or Colombian companies or Canadian companies to do the mining down there?
Well, I mean, the exploration phase is still dominated by companies from Canada, by the junior space, as it obviously is. But the government most definitely see with very good eyes the coming of Chinese companies into Colombia. They have been very supportive of Xi Jinping. Like I said, there's the major company that came in, but there are lots of small companies and groups from China that are coming into the production side as well. The government is fully aware of that. And as you know, Rob, this is, Colombia is not the only country where China is making investments today. China is making investment all over the place in Latin America, not only on the natural resources, but also on the construction side. In Colombia, for instance, Chinese companies are involved in the construction of the subway system in Bogota, on ports, and as well as the main roads. So the Chinese strategy of not only natural resources, but infrastructure is fully taking place in Latin America, in particular in Colombia.
Wow, interesting. So what about the Colombian economy? How big is the natural resource sector in Colombia?
The natural resource sector in Colombia has been historically very, very important for the country, although this is switching from agricultural to natural resources. Oil was Colombia reached a level of $1 million barrels of oil per day. Is a top producer of metallurgical coal as well. And in gold, the gold production in Colombia, particularly the gold production from the communities, is very strong. And that's one of the aspects that it is very important for us as O2Gold. As we're a company that is fully committed with the communities, a company that is committed to work with informal miners and miners that today are outside of the main production process.
So in terms of gold in Colombia, how is the government towards the miners? I know the reason I bring this up is because in some Latin American countries, Peru and Mexico, for example, there have been worries over the past year about some more leftist governments coming into power and potentially that affecting the mining industry. And thankfully, I think so far, they have begun to work with the miners. But how is it in Colombia? How is the government towards the mining sector out there?
Well, the mining sector in Colombia is very important. It's as a source of revenues, as a source of jobs, and is to provide stability for the economy. Although there is always the possibility, because in a political process, in a democratic process, anything may happen. Although we may not think that may happen in the short term, we are quite convinced, and this is something that we have spoke with, issues that we touch with the board of directors and the advisory committee that we have in Colombia. We think, even under a leftist government, a company like O2Gold is very valuable to the government, to the process, to the reputation of the country, because it's the production within a legal framework, within a legalistic and approved framework. And I think it will be in the best interest of the country, no matter which government comes into, which party comes into government. I think it's very key for that party, for the government, to count with the support of and the production of and the stability of the junior companies that are basically the company that produce legal gold, so to speak.
I wanted to ask you a question about Colombian culture for a moment. A lot of cultures, such as China and Asia, where my wife comes from, see gold and silver as being a part of their culture. It's a part of their ceremonies. They see gold, of course, as being an asset or sometimes even money. In Colombia, how does gold play a role? Is it involved in your culture in any way?
Well, I mean, gold was an art craft from gold. Gold production was in place before the Spaniards came into America. Before they discovered the continent, there was a high level of art craft manufacturing by the native communities here, and you can tell. I mean, if you have a chance to come to Colombia, I suggest that you visit, I recommend that you will visit the Gold Museum. You will see all these pieces that were, built by these, native communities, Indian communities throughout the country of a high quality, even today. And I think eventually the discussion that we have had with higher officers in Colombia, Colombia has all the natural resources to have a jewelry industry, which we don't have today. I mean, we have silver, we have gold, we have platinum, we have emeralds, but we don't have a jewelry, industry as such. And it will be something that any government, and that's something that we have discussed. That is an offshoot of what we do that I think it could be very beneficial to the country. So I think it is a matter of us having the political will for the industry to join together and produce a specific help for this industry to develop in the country. So that's something that is part of the culture. Like I said, it's not has not been developed, but that's something that it was part of the Colombian culture 4 or 5 centuries ago.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if it comes back as a part of that culture. And the reason I say that is there's new regulations called Basel III coming out of Europe towards gold and how to treat gold in all of these markets, like the London market. The London market's a derivative market. It's a lot of paper, not real gold. And it seems that Basel III may require those big banking entities to back up their positions. And what I suspect is going to happen is more of the physical gold trade is going to go around the world. We've seen China have a really strong gold market. We've seen Dubai have some comments towards the London market, but I haven't seen South and Central America really say much in terms of the gold trade. Do you think that there could be a revival of the gold trade in Central and South America?
I think it will be a natural process, Robert. I think it will be in the best interest of the country. I think as we move to legalize and to formalize most of the miners, then the bulk of the informal and legal production will strengthen, will increase, and that will obviously put the country in a path where trading within the region and with other parts of the world directly will be quite a possibility. No?
Yeah. I think it'd be great for us because we get fed up here on the channel with the COMEX and the London market because of how they price and because they're dealing in paper and not the physical. We'd like to see the physical market come back. So of course, we love the miners because you guys, produce it. So I want to chat with you a little bit about your company too. So you represent O2Gold and you guys are in Colombia and you're in a established mining district. Talk to us a little bit about the history of where you guys are and how your company came about.
Okay, thank you. Rob, we are in a region called Antioquia. Antioquia is one of the historical districts in Colombia. This project is located in the O2 Fault. The O2 Fault is about 5 hours by road from Medellin when it's not raining, not in the rainy season. And this fault has historically, the O2 Fault has historically, in fact, we named the company after the fault. It's called O2, has produced over 70 million ounces of gold basically from
Wow.
informal miners. That means that this is only the scratch has been, only the surface has been scratched from, from the deposit. So this area has produced, the livelihood for the thousands and thousands of families throughout history. We have a strong mining culture, which is a very welcome site for us because that's not necessarily the case. So this is what is called epithermal mining, which is basically surface mining at this point. We are at this point in a process of drilling 10,000 meters, out of which the first 2,000 meters have basically been completed. We expect to complete that by the end of the year and have a statement of resources. This area, like I said, historically has been a mining area, a district which is very good in terms of the environmental permits and community support. So we're very excited that we're hitting an area that has been, has been a historical, gold productive. Also, they also blend with agriculture because that's the nature of the country. But those are mostly mining. It's a mining district.
So you mentioned 70 million ounces of gold. So that was what was produced before. Was that with modern mining techniques, or is that the old way of doing it?
No, it was the old system of, without geochemistry, without geophysics, without any information. I mean, these informal miners are very smart. They know exactly what to do. But when they lose, they get to a point where the vein disappear. They just move to the next site because there is so much gold. There is so much gold in the district. We recently traveled. We took a group from the investors from Medellin, traveled to a city called El Bagre by plane. We saw, and then we took a boat. We took a boat ride from El Bagre to Zaragoza to the next town, and you will see all this, mining, all this, informal production on the river. People, were what they call here bateando, so they were taking, removing the sand and so on. The whole district lives from gold production, and that's obviously a welcome sight for us because you could see that the whole district is mineralized in many different styles. But in our view, this represents only we're just scratching the surface here. So
yeah, that's what's super exciting. We've seen that in Mexico and Peru and other places where you have old artisanal mining or hand mining, if you will, of these gold veins, and then they shut down. And then years later, it becomes economic. So people come back with modern mining techniques. What do you think this gold district in your project looks like? I mean, it sounds like there could be a lot of gold there that's really never been touched by modern hands. How do you think this is going to turn out?
Well, first of all, the recovery rate and their informal mining system is very low. It's sometimes not over 50%. So with modern techniques, you can get up to 85, 90%. So even in those refuse sands with, that they have a stockpile over the years, you still could find a high level, a high level of concentration that could be agreeable. But given the fact that we're in a district that is being basically unexplored, we think the potential is huge. But not only that, our initial drilling results show us that there is mineralization below 200 meters, which is something that has never been touched in this by this informal mining. They just don't have the technique or the financial resources to do so. But for us, I mean, anything below 200 meters, it will be something that is doable at these prices. No, so we're very excited. I mean, like Gran Colombia Gold has a mine called El Silencio, which is now down to 1,200 meters, and they're still, they're getting lots of, production at that level. That is something that we are. I mean, we have gone as deep as 180 meters in the areas where we are located. So we think the sky's the limit for us, no? But we still, like I say, we are drilling, and we need to drill and get the results to, to get that information to the public, no?
I mean, talk about that group that you're working with that's been in this area for a long time and the success that they've had. I'm gonna actually put this up on screen for people as well.
Please.
So am I on the right slide here, the partnership with Bullet?
Yes, hold on. Yes, the partnership with the Bullet Group was founded by Bob Allen. Bob Allen came in from Arkansas back to Colombia almost 40 years ago. He came in as he was getting paid with some mining titles in Colombia for a work he did in the U.S. for the Hunt brothers out of Texas. No, Robert Allen, it's an incredible prospector. He came into Colombia without, knowing the language or anything like that, and he's been instrumental in the discovery of the major deposits in Colombia, including La Colosa, which was discovered by him, and he was later on sold to AngloGold Ashanti. That is a deposit. It's almost over 20 million ounces. It's a porphyry. Wow. No. Then he was involved in Marmato. He was involved also in Quebradona, which is now property of B2Gold of Ashanti. Then Gramalote, which is B2Gold and Ashanti as well. And obviously Buritica, which was an unknown deposit when Bob came 40 years ago. And now, like I mentioned, it was sold for $1 billion to the Chinese company Zijin. So Bob Allen is the top prospector. He's the Midas god in Colombia. Everything he touches turns into gold. He's also, a very, it's someone who's respect the history and the culture of the country. He's very well known, very well liked by his employees, by the communities, and he's done a great job here. And we're delighted that we're teaming up with them and his team in Colombia, his group. We deal with them. Bob is at the board for one of the companies. We're looking to develop other deals with him as well. And so we're very excited. He's got a terrific group in Colombia. He's got proven, results, and we're going to have a better partner here. So, and then we provide, all the financial resources and the know-how, at the stock market level, at the market making level. So we're very excited with the association with them.
So I think we've established that Colombia is a great place to do gold mining. There's been a lot of historical production. You guys are right in the middle of all of these other deposits that have been found, and you're partnered with a group that's, I think your slide said, over the last 2 decades, found most of the gold coming out of Colombia, right?
That's right.
You mentioned that you have this drilling program coming out. Tell us a little bit about the drilling program and when you're going to have your resource report out.
Rob, we have, as I mentioned, we have an 8,000 meter drilling campaign that has been contracted in Colombia with 2 of the major drilling and engineering firms in Colombia. I'm very happy to report that the drilling companies have agreed to take 30% of their payment in shares of the company, which for us is a very great show of support for the company, because this company has done millions of meters in drilling in Colombia, so they know the industry, they know the space, and they know the district. So for us, we're very excited. The price that we negotiated, I think, is $117, and with the sharing cost. With the shared payment that we'll make, it comes down to 85. So we have, in fact, contracted 8,000 meters with an option to do 2,000 meters additional at the same price, which we will focus once we have the results And when we have analyzed with our consultants, the strategy for for future exploration and so on, we might increase this additional 2,000 meters in one of the areas that we will select at the time that we complete the analysis of the course.
Okay, so to recap, you guys are going to start with 8,000 meters. You could go additional 2,000 meters if you wanted to, same price. Your price is discounted by the fact that you're providing shares, right? So net cost to you of about $85 a meter, which is really inexpensive to do this work.
Right, absolutely. And then the SGS lab in Colombia, they have given us a priority, status for the analysis of the course, and we expect to get that, or the agreement is to get that within 15 days, as opposed to the 80 or 90 days that it takes in the US and Canada today.
Wow. And so you'll turn that around, and you were telling me before that maybe you would have a 43-101 report here pretty soon.
Yeah, as well. We plan to have an statement of resources by the end of the year. We will, as we're getting the results back from the lab, we'll start getting an idea of what it is, and we have already contracted the geo team, or the geo consultant, with the QP status and all that, to verify the 43-101 nature of the report. No.
Yeah, and that's what investors really look for. They look for the drill results and the resource report, because what that does is give them a target for, what your company could be worth in their eyes. So it looks like you guys will be, have a lot of positive news for investors coming up the rest of the year.
That's right. That's right. We have a very good team for investor relations and banking relations. So we are, as you can tell from our PR history, we're producing results and keeping our investors fully aware of what's going on with the company, with the results, with the geochemistry, geophysics, and so on. So we'll continue to bring the good news to the market.
Yeah, that sounds like great news. And I wanted for investors also to talk about your share structure. So I'm going to put that slide in your presentation up on the screen. The first thing I noticed is you guys have 21% insider ownership, which is really good. So the core group there owns over a fifth of the company. Is that right?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
Insiders about 21%. Yes.
Yeah. And do you have other companies investing in you, or who are your other investors as well?
Our main investor is obviously the Bullet Group. The Bullet Group, as you mentioned, as I mentioned, they have a huge knowledge and experience in Colombia. There's also the previous group that owned the company, the Origin Group, that had about 16%, and the rest of that is it's a number of investors from the retail side, and people that have been associated with the Forza Manhattan Group, and former employees, and investors coming in from that source. So we're very confident that they will continue to will count with the support of this group in the future, and they are fully aware of what we're doing here, of the know-how of the team and the quality of the team. So I think we'll see a continued support, and we'll be ready to tap into the market in the first quarter of next year. But for sure by then we'll have very good news in their hands. So we expect to continue with the support.
So you guys are trading on the Toronto Stock Exchange, the venture under OTGO, is that correct?
That is correct, the TSX, that is correct.
Do you guys have any plans to come on the OTC as well?
Well, not at this point, but that's something that we're not ruling out, but it won't happen in the next 12 months or so.
Gotcha.
Other companies from the group has been in the OTC, and they have done very well. So that's an option for us, and we would love that, because everybody looks for the U.S. market. That's obviously top market in the world, and we're just next door. So it will happen. It will happen, Rob, sooner or later.
Okay. And I want to talk last question about the overall value of your company. So we know this year you've got drill results, you've got your initial 43-101. What's the long-term value proposition for investors who may want to stick with you a while? What are you guys planning over the next 1 to 2 years? What is your goal ultimately?
No, we plan to this company. We're developing this company in 4 different districts in order to maintain the investment discipline. So our plan is to set up a basic production. Basic production will give us the opportunity to finance the exploration. We think there is a huge resource in this area. We have 30,000 hectares, out of which 26,000 of that it's green fields that has a huge potential. When we first acquired this project from Bob Allen, we were first discussing this. He said, I love this area. This is one of the areas that I wanted to keep and develop myself because I think there is a 10 million ounce resource here. This is what we're looking for. This is the promised land. This is where I would like to lead the team to the 10 million ounces resource. And that obviously to get there has a lot of work to do. We have to set up a production structure that will allow us to finance that. But we believe that in those mountains, in those 26,000 hectares that have been unexplored, that are now available to us, and where Bob Allen has put his eyes on, there is the promised land of 10 million ounces. So,
well, if you guys get 10 million ounces, it couldn't come at a better time. Crescat Capital has graphed out all of the proven and probable reserves around the world and produced a chart. And in 2027, we hit a cliff where there's just not enough gold to go around. And so if you guys are able to develop 10 million ounces, that'll be huge because we're going to need it.
Fantastic. That's our plan. That's our plan. We're going to hit a home run here. So keep your investors and the people that follow you aware, and abreast about our company, and we'll continue to feed you with information about, on our, course to get to the 10 million ounces.
Yeah,
we're
awesome.
Very happy.
Any last comments you want to make, Jaime, for the investors watching the show?
Rob, thank you very much for you taking the time. This is a beautiful country. It's a great opportunity. Colombia is an underdeveloped a mining district. If you compare that with Chile and Peru, we are sitting up in the same mountains, in the same geological environment, and we feel there is a great opportunity here. We have a great partnership and a great district that has been historically very productive, and we have everything in place to have a very professional exploration done in the next few years.
Well, it's good to hear. We're expanding out from just North America, looking all around the world for gold and for good projects. And you guys look like you have a really good project in an area in which there's been a lot of historical production, and your team, has a knack for finding it. So we look forward to all the news and the discoveries that you guys make. And of course, we're going to cover you guys for the next several months on our channel as well. So everybody that watches Gold Silver Pro, stay tuned to that. We'll bring you updates on the company, and we'll bring Jaime back on the program as well. Thank you, Jaime, so much.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. We'll see you soon, Robert.
All right.